Well, here we are after listowel, however you say the name of the town. I kind of got a little excited at the Derby. I was doing fantastic in my mini heat. I was backing up. I was driving up to the front of the track and I was backing up the entire way and then just putting my foot right to the floor. It was a good track. I had good traction in the front. Everything was going great. I was laying down shots with the back of this car. And then, out of nowhere, I got a bump. And it put me onto the blocks in the front, and I was hung up there the rest of the Derby. I got upset. I got freaked out a little bit too much. I told the promoter that I wanted to go into the second heat of minis because I felt like I had got ripped off and I had got cheated out of my position in my heat. He told me no. I got real upset even more. I went back to my trailer. I loaded the car on the trailer. I tied it down. I changed the tire. It's basically all that I needed to do was change the front tire. And then I thought, why not enter it in full size? So I went back up to the promoter and I said, can I full size this thing? He asked me if I was stupid. I said, that's not a valid question. I said, can I full size this? And he said, yes. So I went and paid my $50 again and I went into full size with this thing. Going into full size, actually, let's start off with mini. Mini, there was 0 damages. I fixed it coming out after the heat of mini, but this got pushed into the tire right here. So all I did was just stick a pry bar through these holes and I pried it away from the tire. That was fine. Didn't really have any problems with that. I did lose a passenger side tire, but it was my Nokia tire, and the Nokia tire had such big weather cracks I really didn't think it was going to last very long anyway. So after the heat, the only damage done was this, and then I realized that I had actually lost the bottom corner of the rad. So I had no rad going into full size, and I didn't care. I was fine with it. Listen, this car here, I want to destroy it because I need the motor out of it, but honestly, this car is not dead yet. So after mini, I went into full size. When I went into full size, I went in there with no rad. I gave it as best as I could. I had a buddy get hung up. I stopped what I was doing, drove all the way around the track, and I got him off, so that was good. He ended up helping me later on in the Derby, so it's always good to have a friend in the ring. Obviously, you still got to hit your friends, but yeah, I had a friend in the ring, that's for sure. There was a couple very stock cars there. I believe there was a young girl driving that was 16, but you know what? There was some very moddy cars, and there was 2 Luminas that were very moddy, and then there was 1 Crown Vic that was unbelievably moddy. And I took the Crown Vic on nose to nose with this thing, and it really didn't move. The frame rails are still straight as an arrow, and there's nothing inside these frame rails. You can see right down inside there, there's nothing. Now I'll show you the other side. There's no modifications to any of the frame rails, front or rear, on this thing, and they haven't kinked at all. I was honestly surprised. GMs are really not known for their heavy frame rails, especially in their unibodies up front, except for Luminas and W bodies. But for being a mid-sized car, like, there's nothing in there. You can see all the way down inside there. There's no added steel. Like, yes, it kind of kinked a bit, but that's only because of the bumper twisting and rotating up. Nothing is kinked on the side here all the way down. I am actually very, very impressed with how this frame held up. Passenger side's a little bit more worse for wear than driver, but that's always expected. People are going to hit your passenger side harder. You can tell by the mud on the tires, it still was a pretty muddy track. It's coming off in sheets and layers. It's about 3/4 of an inch of mud on this tire. The trimming I did before I went to listowel actually helped out quite a bit because all the body steel stayed away from tires. Everything came in pretty damn square. Like, you can see the frame is straight and then it just basically disappears. So the frame, because I did the notch, I thought it was going to go down, but where I did the notch, it kind of went down and then it came back up and in, and it came into one. So it's coming along pretty good, but I think there's a downside to this wagon, and I don't know how to address it. So the downside to this wagon is that, let's pretend another car is here. Every car's trunk is about this tall. Yes, when the trunk gets pushed into the speaker deck, obviously the roof kind of gets involved as well. But every hit I'm taking is to the frame rails, is what a lot of you guys want. But have all this sheet metal up here that I cannot use. Now, before a lot of you guys suggested, no, I cannot sedangan this. And a lot of you guys probably don't know what sedangan is, but that's where you cut the pillars and you bend the roof down and bring the roof to the floor and then bolt it. It makes these cars unbelievably strong, and it is outlawed everywhere here in Ontario. So before you guys even suggest it, no, I cannot do it. There was another HHR at that Derby, but the problem is we did not get put in the same heats. If I was against another big wagon like a PT Cruiser, or maybe even a Camry wagon, or some big mid-sized wagon, I'm probably pretty sure I could use the top of this roof, but as of right now, this is just dead weight back here. It's not coming in with the rest of the car, it's just kind of basically staying up there. Some things that I would like to try to do differently on the next one, I'm not going to do this because it did come in a little bit, but not enough to really justify it. Maybe just V it a bit, but not as much as I did. The roof, I'm not going to worry about. Maybe I'll put slits up here so that the roof kind of comes up with it, so that way the roof is actually being brought in with the steel. But other than that, there's not much more you can do. It's the height issue. Every other car on the track, their trunk lid's this tall. There's not much you can do. When I take this thing off, I'll park another car right behind it, and I'll show you the difference. And like, I went in full size, so I was up against Luminas, Crown Vics, Chevy full frames, all 80s and newer, but there was also some Intrepids out there, and this thing was still one of the tallest vehicles out there. I still haven't even tied the door shut, but it still opens and closes just fine. So the cage held up real good, everything held up real good. I was actually very, very impressed with this car. But what really took me out was the vehicle got hot, it went into limp mode because of heat. I am pretty damn sure if I untie this thing and start it up, I can drive it off the trailer because it's cooled down. I'll just have to put a new rad into it and figure out a way how to open up the hood. But other than that, the clutch is good, the steering's good, everything's good. It drives straight, it drives true. I had a tire come off the rim, so that was kind of holding me back a bit. But this is a very stock show car. Like, the doors are seat belted. The only weld that was on this was to the front bumper, and that let go. So this is like as stock as it can come. So the only thing that's changed is spindles and bumper. Not much more stock than that. Well, let's see if this thing will start up. I was having some problems with the alternator. It no longer charges, so I was charging the battery between the heats, and I was disconnecting the battery as much as possible. So I just reconnected the battery. Door's automatically locked. That's a good sign. That's not good. That's what it was doing at the Derby. So maybe it's not a heat-related issue. Forgot to unlock the trailer. So the car's making some pretty weird whistling noises, and I kind of have a good theory on what I think it's going to be. It looks like the upper rad support has crushed the air inlet to the motor, so I think it's kind of starving for air. I know that this thing's almost fallen off. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it didn't even go into limp mode. It basically started starving itself full of air. So how are we going to solve that for the next one? Maybe a PVC pipe there? I'm not sure. I guess the next thing is to open this hood up, which is not going to be easy because the hood's mangled, and see what we're dealing with. So we got the hood open. It wasn't as difficult as I thought. It actually came up pretty nice. I found out what took me out of the Derby. And it's kind of a piss off that it was something this simple. I took a high shot against a car that was much taller than me and hit the rad and pushed in the hood. Now if you notice, this is closed. And there's this, and this is supposed to go on there like this. So that's my airlet into the motor. I'm going to turn you right upside down, turn off my phone. It is completely blocked off. There is no air getting through there. So basically, this thing was starving for air. I thought it was limp mode, but it's not limp mode. So I went into the big car with absolutely no rad. This thing had a hole in it. We tried putting water in it, and it came out twice as fast as what we're putting it in. So I'm just going to take that Sawzall, and I'm just going to cut it here, and I'm going to cut it here, and remove everything, and see if this thing runs better. Well, boys and girls, I hate to say it, but this thing is the turd that just keeps giving. Even with the flat tire right off the bead, like completely off the bead, the tire actually spins inside the rim. This thing still runs, drives, stops, everything just fine. We have cut a massive amount of steel out of this thing. But listen to this thing purr now. I thought it was limp mode. Turns out it's not. Ready? Watch those RPMs. She's still got some life left in her. So thanks for watching Zach's workshop, and this thing will be ran again because obviously I haven't killed the car. The car still runs, drives, stops, turns, and steers fine. So one of those things have to go to the point where it's not fixable. And I really hope the motor survives, and I hope it's something about steering and driving that take it out. I don't care if I blow an axle, I don't care if I blow the whole shifter out of it, because the next car this motor's going to go to is automatic. So the only thing I really care about is this motor. But let's turn it off before she gets too hot, because this rad is garbage. Last little thing here on this. I was pretty worried about all these aluminum in here, but none of it gave way. Everything's pretty much stock. And this thing was ran pretty hard. Even this plastic motor mount down here is doing great. Even the aluminum one over here on passenger side, it's all doing great. Now, I have had good luck with aluminum motor mounts on manual cars. It'll be a different story to see how these hold up with an automatic.